Hello viewers, welcome back to our channel. Today we'll discuss carbon markets and carbon credits. We'll discuss why bamboo is good for the carbon markets and also why Kenya is largely missing out on this fast evolving market. But before we get into that, we'll again ask that you support our channel by subscribing to the channel as well as liking and sharing our videos. So, carbon markets are platforms or the trading system where carbon credits are traded. And in very simple terms, I'll try to explain what carbon credits are. And I'll explain by giving an example. For instance, when farmers plant trees, the trees absorb carbon from the atmosphere for photosynthesis. When you have like an acre of trees, the trees will absorb tons of carbon dioxide in 1 year. Now, this carbon dioxide is what is makes the carbon credits. 1 ton of carbon dioxide will sell in the international carbon markets at about $20 or $40 or even $15. The market varies. And as I said, 1 ton of carbon credits is sorry, 1 ton of carbon dioxide is equal to 1 carbon credit, which is then traded in the international markets. Now, the reason that Kenya or many farmers are missing out on this trade is because the trading of the carbon credits is seen as a very complicated and expensive process, which it is, but there are ways that can make the process cheaper, and we'll discuss towards the end of the video. Now, for farmers to access the carbon credit markets, you need to get organizations that are accredited to monitor and report, to monitor and verify on the carbon credits that have been generated. And this may be complicated for farmers because number one, they are expensive for individual farmers to deal with, and also farmers may not understand this process. There are several initiatives, community-based initiatives ongoing in Kenya, even at this moment. And what happens is the farmers are usually supported by NGOs, and the NGOs will mobilize thousands of farmers, maybe 2,000, maybe 4,000, and each of the farmer will plant an acre, an acre or a quarter or even an eighth of the trees. And then the NGO will link them up with the accredited organizations, and then they can come and monitor and verify and determine also the carbon credits that the trees can earn. And the accredited organizations, they are using technology, remote sensing and other technologies to be able to determine the carbon credits to award those farmers. So once these organizations verify the number of carbon credits, then these credits then can be taken to the market and traded. Sometimes some organizations or people keep the credits, they don't sell immediately, just like you'd keep some shares to sell when the prices go up. That happens also with the carbon credits. Once they are sold, then The money is distributed again along the chain. There will be the fee for the company that is monitoring and verifying the carbon credits. There will be a sponsor organizations. Remember, the farmers may get the seedlings free. They may be trained on cultivation and harvesting of the, um, uh, let's say in case of baboon. So the money will go to the accredited organization, to the sponsor organization, and maybe to also the local NGO. And what is left is then distributed to the farmers. Sometimes the money is used for community-based programs like water projects or supporting schools, or sometimes the money can support the projects as well as be paid out to the farmers. So it is true there are some farmers who are already benefiting from the carbon credit markets. And let me add that for the carbon credits, it's not only planting trees that can earn you the credits. There are other ways of earning carbon credits. For instance, when you use clean energy, um, when you use clean energy like solar or wind energy, or for instance KenGen, the electricity generating company, they make carbon credits because they use geothermal, which is viewed as clean energy, hydro, and wind. Wind generated electricity is termed as clean energy. So KenGen has been able to earn carbon credits, and they've been paid in millions of shillings. It is, if one can Google, they can see what KenGen has been earning from carbon credits. In Kenya, we also have the energy saving jiko, or the energy saving stove. As you know, the bigger part of the population is using charcoal or firewood for cooking. And so if you have a stove that reduces the amount of charcoal that you use to cook, then those jikos can fetch carbon credits. There are also other ways, for instance, in this case, you are not removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. You are actually avoiding using methods that avoid you emitting the gases to the atmosphere. The other ways people have generated money from carbon credits is sustainable grassland or pasture management system. And I believe maybe the conservancies have been able to apply for carbon credit, because if you don't, for instance, cut the grass or disturb the soil, you retain the carbon in the soil. It doesn't come out to the atmosphere. So you have, if you have systems that keep green pastures or something like that, you are able to apply for carbon credits. Um, One may ask then, who is buying these carbon credits? And we know that the companies whose production systems emit carbon dioxide or any other greenhouse gas, because there are many gases like methane, but carbon dioxide is the most abundant polluter of the environment. So companies that use systems that emit carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, they are able to offset their emissions from people then who, for instance, plant trees, which then absorb the carbon dioxide. Well, some people have said it's not ethical, they should stop pollution all the same, but at least they make their contribution by compensating those who are trying to clean the environment and therefore mitigating against climate change. As I said in the beginning, it's a fast evolving market, the carbon market. But as a country, we have not been able to participate in a big way, and we are missing out on this market. The It is since the what is called the Paris Agreement when they came up with the idea of carbon credits. And so since 2015 up to now, 10 years later, we've still not developed good capacity to participate in these markets. Um, Companies, including SMEs, uh, would be encouraged to participate in this market, but many of them lack the information or the know-how of how to develop carbon projects. And because of that, we have a report developed by the World Bank and KEPSA, and it's a guide. It's actually a guide on how to participate in the carbon markets and how to develop um, carbon projects. This is a guidebook that the companies and the SMEs can use so that they are able to participate in this market. We will leave a link of it on the comment section. Those who may be interested can check it out because it's available on the internet. Now, why is Babu good for carbon markets? The reason that Babu is good for carbon markets and the reason many people are getting into it is because it's very fast growing compared to other trees. Babu also has a very big canopy. The branches and leaves are very many, so it has a lot of biomass, so to speak. The leaves are able to absorb a lot of carbon dioxide, and so like 1 acre of Babu would absorb many tons of carbon dioxide, meaning that you get many carbon credits, which then can be traded in the market. And apart, as we had said in our earlier video, apart from the advantage of earning carbon credits, Babu is also beneficial in very many other ways. Babu can be harvested in a very short time compared to other trees. And Babu continues to grow to produce other shoots which are harvested every year. And so when you plant the Babu, you are able to start harvesting after a few years and earning also from the carbon credits. Babu is also good for control of soil erosion and for controlling like floods. Because of its uh, heavy network of the roots, it's able to slow down the movement of flood waters. And if you stop the topsoil from going to the rivers, then it means the soil will be fertile and you can improve your yields. Babu is also being used in the industry, cottage industries, and as we said, it has many uses, including construction, including they can make paper, it can make clothing material, it is food, it is fodder for livestock, and many more uses. And I've always said that we have high potential to benefit from Babu. For instance, if we planted our riparian land with Babu to stop the soil going to the rivers, we would have very thousands, maybe thousands of acres of Babu, then which as a country can be used to claim some carbon credits. And again, our roads. There's a lot of pollution on our roads from the emissions from the vehicles. And again, if we planted Babu or other trees, other recommended trees along the highways, we would be able to absorb these emissions while making money from the carbon credits. And those who can remember, we used to have some tree lined highways For instance, Nakuru, as you approached Nakuru, we used to have the jacaranda trees. We used to have trees in Naivasha planted by the late Karaoke Chotara. And even Thika, near Blue Post, there were trees along the highway before the superhighway came. So I think it's the high time we revisited these issues, not only to benefit the environment, but for job creation and other economic activities. We'll be doing more videos on bamboo, how to cultivate bamboo. You'll be doing videos on mass production of bamboo seedlings, because again, many people ask where to get the bamboo seedlings. The other question that we'll be handling is uh, which areas bamboo is planted. Some people have been asking the ecological zones where bamboo is planted. We'll talk about it because as of now, research has species that can be planted anywhere in the country. So until next time, bye bye.